guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we are doing a big Q&A. I'm so excited to be doing this Q&A for you guys today because it has been a minute since I've done one of these on my channel. Someone on my Instagram recently requested that I do one of these, so I'm really excited to be doing this for you guys today. If you guys enjoyed this Q&A, feel free to subscribe down below and also hit the notification bell. I did post for you guys to ask me questions on my Instagram, so that is where I'm going to be pulling all of the questions from today. If you guys do not follow me on Instagram, I highly recommend you do because that is where I get all of my questions for these type of videos. I get a lot of suggestions for videos, as well as that's how you guys can keep up with me and my animals from day to day. Alright, I'm just going to start going down the list and answering as many as I can. The first question is by Bioexotics, and they said, how have you avoided pyramiding with Blue? That is such a great question. So here is Blue, and in case you're not familiar with what pyramiding is exactly, before I answer the question, pyramiding is basically where the scoots can kind of be elevated away from the shell and not be completely rounded. It's basically the little bit of bumpiness that Blue has here. He did have what little pyramiding he does have before I got him. I did get him at 2.5 years old. So he does have a little bit, but it's definitely not bad, and I do think that I've successfully stopped it from getting any worse. But that is basically what pyramiding is right there. So not to dive too deep into pyramiding and how it's caused and everything, because that can honestly be a whole video by itself, but pyramiding is essentially caused by diet and lack of humidity. That's what most tortoise keepers have kind of narrowed it down to. So giving Blue a very well-balanced diet, making sure that his growth is very slow, and also keeping his humidity at around 30 to 40% in his enclosure at all times has greatly helped his pyramiding not go any further. I do believe that I've got it stopped for the most part. He's always going to have a little bit just along those 3 to 4 scoots on the very center of his back. But overall, Blue's shell does look really, really good, and I think most people who know what tortoise's shell should look like would agree. But Blue has a very minimal amount. He looks really good for the most part, and thank you so much for your question. Kendra Vorchek asks, are you still looking for a bird, and are there any animals you wouldn't own? So as far as animals that I wouldn't own, I think I've answered this question a few times, but for the most part, a snake is the real only animal that comes to mind that I can just say, absolutely, I would never have one. Also monkeys, chimpanzees, things like that, even little marmosets, I would never own one. And then I would probably say guinea pigs. I can pretty much say that snakes, guinea pigs, and monkeys are like the 3 main things I think I would just say I would never ever want one. And then, are you still looking for a bird? I am not currently looking for a bird. I still have my bird cage. It's right here in the pet room, but I have stalled looking. I'm having a lot of fun with Blue right now, my fish tanks, and then there's a couple of other animals I'm looking at too. I think that's kind of where I'm going right now, so I'm not currently looking for a bird. But that doesn't mean that I have no plans of getting one. I still want one, just not right now. What sparked your love of animals? So actually, you know, I was actually about to say nothing, like there wasn't one thing that made me love animals, but I actually do think there was one thing in my childhood that had like a really big impact on how much I love animals. So when I was younger, my daddy actually used to take me every single Friday when I was little. He would take me to this pet store in our town called Findon. It's not there anymore. They closed down ages ago, at least a decade ago. They've been gone, but there used to be this pet store called Findon. Now, I'm not saying it was a good pet store. I'm not saying that their pet care was amazing. I don't even remember. I was so small, but I just remember every Friday I would beg my daddy to take me there, and every Friday he would take me. Such a good daddy. But he would take me there, and we would look at the kittens and the rabbits. As soon as you walked in, that's what you would see first, and then you would look at all the smaller animals in the back, and I just remember loving that store so much. We never bought anything, you know, like we never went in and bought anything. We never got any of the animals out of there or anything, but I just remember every Friday he would take me in there, and it was like the highlight of my week. And I'm not saying that that made me love animals, because obviously I already loved them. That's why I wanted to go. But I just remember, and still to this day, pet stores being like my favorite thing to do when I was little. And then obviously the memories of my daddy taking me, it just really had an impact on my childhood, I guess, if that kind of makes sense. It was just like some of the best memories I have are in that pet store with my dad. So yeah, I would say that had a really big impact on it. But all in all, I just love animals. Tyler Ruggie asks, who is your favorite pet YouTuber that's first name starts with a T and ends with an R? Ooh, Tyler. Thank you, Tyler, for the question. I would say that my favorite pet tuber that starts with a T and ends with an R, I would say either Tyler Dean or Taylor Ruggie. Do you know them? Callum Pets asks, can you do a horse-filled Russian tortoise care guide and go really in depth? So that is something I could potentially do. I will say that I don't have a Russian tortoise, obviously, or a horse-filled tortoise, obviously. but their care is extremely similar to Blue. They are both Mediterranean species, so things like diet, humidity, etc., they're all gonna be pretty much exactly the same. So technically, I could do a video about Mediterranean tortoise care, and it would be very similar because Blue and Russians are very, very similar tortoises. So that is something I could potentially do in the future. Thank you for the question. Would you ever own inverts? Yes, I would actually. I've been considering getting a tarantula for quite, my eye is like bugging me. I actually got a glass aquarium up here at an expo recently. It's a 5-gallon short. I would love to have a tarantula. I've been considering it for a while, but I do lots of research. It takes me forever, and then I take my time getting pets, so it's definitely on my list, so to speak. I do have a list of things I would love to have, but all in due time. I do take my time, do my research, and then I make my decisions. So, but yeah, it's definitely on my list. How did you and Patrick meet? We were actually introduced by my cousin, whose husband worked with him about an hour away. She met him at a Halloween party, thought he'd be perfect for me, and the rest is history. What is the best bedding for a Herman's tortoise? Very good question. So this is highly debated. Right now I have Blue on a mixture of EcoEarth and ReptiBark, and I am loving it. I'm pretty sure that's gonna be like the substrate for him for a while. It took me a while to be happy with the substrate for him because a lot of people like to use organic topsoils. However, topsoils just scare me. I know tons and tons of breeders and tortoise keepers keep their tortoises on topsoil or organic topsoil without any perlite or anything, but it really does scare me. It makes me really, really nervous, and I never trust them. Like, I think it's just me being really paranoid. I'm sure it would be fine if you did keep them on an organic topsoil, but every time I would buy a bag, I actually bought 3 bags of organic topsoil, and I would open it and I would smell it to see if it smelled chemically to me, and it would always smell like poop or chemicals, and I'm like, I'm not gonna put Blue on poop, like what? So I just couldn't do it. I didn't use any, so he is on a mixture of EcoEarth and ReptiBark. I would say ReptiBark and EcoEarth, but there are lots of different options that you can use for your tortoise that are safe. How old is your oldest animal that you have? That would be Koa, my box turtle. He is 30 something. I think he's around 37 years old. He is a rescue. He was taken from the wild in 1985, so long before I was born. So he is definitely my oldest. Sarah Evante asked, hi Lori, hi. What do you do for a living? Love your channel. This is what I do. YouTube is my full-time job now. It took a really long time to get there, but luckily it's finally working out. Everything's going really great. I love it, but it is my full-time job. Thank you for asking, and thank you for watching. What is your favorite species of animal? I love tortoises. I love tortoises as a whole, not an individual type of tortoise, just all of them as a whole. I love them. MJ Moore 2004 asks, will you get a Russian tortoise? I have no intentions of getting a Russian tortoise. I will say that I check Craigslist regularly, and they are the most common tortoise on Craigslist besides sulcatas, shockingly. But I don't think that I'll get one. I have no intentions of getting one, but I wouldn't say never. Like, if someone were to just give me one or offer me one, I would take it in a heartbeat. Like, I love tortoises, love them all, but I have no intentions of getting one on purpose, if that makes sense. My next tortoise is gonna be an Egyptian. That's not one of the questions, but if I could get another tortoise, I really want a little Egyptian. I love them. I think they are precious, and they are like the 2nd smallest species of tortoise in the world. I love them. Hercules the Ham Lord asks, is the Burgess Dwarf Hamster Harvest safe for Syrians? Also, love your channel so much. Thank you so much, Hercules. So Burgess Hamster Harvest actually has 2 types of formulas that they have. They have a Dwarf Hamster Harvest, which is what I feed Moo, and they also have a regular Hamster Harvest. If you have a Syrian, I would definitely feed them that one. The Dwarf Hamster Harvest would not hurt them, but I definitely think that the bigger one with bigger pieces meant for Syrians is the better one to go with. What, in your opinion, is the best beginner reptile? I don't think there is one perfect beginner reptile for everyone. I think it really depends on your age, your education, how willing you are to take care of them, lifespan, how much money you have to commit to them, and time and all of that. It really does depend on the individual person. There isn't one reptile that suits all. I really don't believe that. CI Animals, also named Kieran, asks, Vlogmas, heart. I've actually considered doing Vlogmas. I don't know if I'd be able to do it every single day. That's a lot of videos, but it's definitely something I'm considering doing. I don't know how yet, or like what I would do for it, but it's definitely something I'm considering. Thank you for the question. What do you think of the new PetSmart hamster cages? I think they're trash. Alright guys, that is all the questions I can get to today. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. I will see you guys in the next video. Be kind. Bye.